Rosetta is a sunfish of the Imperial Palace. She is Maid Rosetta. She is so frail that she collapses at every turn, and with a boisterous personality. In fact, sunfish don't die that easily. In other words, she is worse than a sunfish. However, the people at the palace didn't hate Rosetta. Beautiful looks and lineage aside, there was something about her that strangely drew people to her, but most importantly, because everyone who worked for the prince previously 3 days or less, he is known as Mad Prince. 2 assassins tried to kill the prince. Rosetta asks, "What are they doing? Do they wish to stab the prince with that?" One of them replies, "What do we do? The sunfish of the Imperial Palace is here. He who sees what he ought not to see must die." He apologizes to Rosetta, but he has to do this. The next moment, Rosetta puts his knife in his own body. Rosetta states, he is pretty good. Why would he use his skills for something like this? What a waste. The other one asks, have she been hiding her identity all this time? And is she the reason why all of the Crown Prince's assassination attempts have failed so far? After completing his sentence, he was on the floor. Rosetta replies, sorry, he who sees what he ought not to see must die. After some time, a maid asks, where have she been? Rosetta replies, sorry, she accidentally fell into the pond earlier. That's why she is a little late. The maid says, since that's what happened, well, go on, His Majesty is looking for her. Rosetta replies, yes, she will be right back. In the next scene, Rosetta saw the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince, Rosetta thought, the real sunfish is this one. He has already died many times. In this life, she will definitely save him. The fact that she became a maid instead of a knight this time, it was the right choice after all. The prince speaks, his Rose. He thought he was going to go crazy waiting for her. Rosetta thinks, what the hell is this guy doing in broad daylight? In her previous life, Rosetta told him to turn back time. Valyrian replied he didn't know what to say. Rosetta replied, it doesn't matter. Rosetta was the Empire's mightiest sword, the Archmage's friend, and the only swordmaster of the Empire. An escort knight directly under the Crown Prince, who failed to protect His Majesty. Though bestowed with the medium of the sword by the Crown Prince, she went back 10 years. However, His Majesty had already been assassinated by the time she regressed. Not only that, if Rosetta failed to prevent the prince's death, she would be stuck in going back to her 20s. The strategy of the Prince of the Regression and gaining his cooperation also failed. It's now time to enter the 5th loop. Now, the only thing left that she can do is to enter a position where she can freely enter the room of the prince, who does not wish to be escorted. So in this life, Rosetta became a sunfish of the Imperial Palace and a maid of the Crown Prince's court. The maid stated to His Majesty that she is here to introduce him to the new maid. Rosetta thought of the Crown Prince's chamber, a place she rarely visited when she was an escort knight. Rosetta expressed pleasure to meet him. She is Rosetta. She looked forward to serving His Highness in the future. The prince replied, okay. Rosetta thought, without even looking at the person's face, was he originally this rude? Could it be that he is acting this way because she is a maid? It's the first time in her life that she has been treated badly, but for her, it was a new impetus. Then starting today, she will slowly open His Highness's heart and tame him. The maid thought she was wondering if there was anything special about her. Since she is a maid under the direct control of the Crown Prince, there is nothing special about her except for her face. Before she starts boasting about her aristocratic roots, he is going to have to put the fool in her place. The maid stated she thinks Rosetta looks better in a maid outfit than a dress. Rosetta replied, thanks, she likes this outfit too. The maid thought this person has her head full of flowers. She is a pretty-faced fool. After some days, the maid stated, eat this cookie. She got it from the kitchen to give to her. Don't give it to anyone else, it's only for her. The other maid asked, now she is treating her like a child. At first, she hated her the most. She replied that's how it was in the beginning. However, with Rosetta, when she is called out on her mistakes, she is quick to apologize. She is good at everything. She even helps the other maids in her spare time. How could she not like someone like that? And to top it all off, that beautiful smile. Suddenly, She screamed. Rosetta asked what's going on. Why is she suddenly screaming? The other maid told her she has to be in the crown prince's room. Rosetta asked why is that so surprising. She told her rumor has it that His Highness, the crown prince, is crazy. Rosetta stated let her do this, she will clean the crown prince's room, the maid replied. Thanks for everything. Rosetta thought it was time to start taming the prince. The next scene, Rosetta thought, how did she get the prince to open up his heart to her? Prince preferred maid servants who seem to be the type who work without talking. She will just be a maid who does a good job. If she is too friendly, the prince will start to get wary because of his personality. Armand, who was born as the second prince, did not believe anyone, because he had been subjected to numerous assassination attempts before he became crown prince. He starts staring at her while she is cleaning. What kind of person watches their personal maid like a hawk? This is why the maids don't like him. They think he is a mad crown prince, but it's about pushing the boundaries. Rosetta stated she is done cleaning. Prince thought, what the hell is this? Rosetta spoke. The weather is so nice. Shall she leave the window open? This warm and gentle breeze. Prince told her if she is done, then get out. Then after that the maid asked if everything was okay. Rosetta replied, don't worry, she is stronger than what she looks. The next day, Prince thought he said she cleaned once every 3 days, yet she comes and goes every day. It's suspicious, unlike the maids who used to fiddle with something with their backs turned, or disappear out of sight without a word, she is not acting suspiciously. Rosetta stated the weather is fantastic today. Why don't he go for a walk? She got a cookie earlier, and it had a gem in it. Would he like it? Prince replied if she is done, then get out. Rosetta thought it's hard to tell if any progress was made. This has been going on for weeks now, and there is no sign of him opening up. But let's not get discouraged. Tomorrow they will push harder. The next day, Rosetta thought he looked as beautiful as ever. Then she said, His Majesty. Pardon her, Prince thought. What is this? Prince bit her thumb. Rosetta spoke. Forgive Hiei for being rude. Prince thought, what the hell is happening? After some time, Rosetta opened her eyes. Prince stated that she is awake now, and from now on, he will take care of her. Rosetta thought about the kiss with the crown prince before she collapsed. There is a reason for the unexpected kiss. Back at that time, Rosetta smelled black tea, a scent unmistakable to her, and then she thought of poisonous sitar. She must extract the poison from his mouth, even if it means enduring its toxicity. Richard came and asked if everything was all right with His Majesty and if he should call a priest. Rosetta told him to call the priest right now. Now, back in present time, the Duke asked how she knew the tea was poisoned. Rosetta replied that she is familiar with the smell of that poison. Have they caught the culprit? The Duke spoke. They have already committed suicide. Rosetta thought that even if his tone is a bit off, he can't believe he is answering her. If he is going to be like this, she would eat poison 100 times over. Prince stated he is fine. However, she is the one who ingested more poison, so she will probably die in a few days. Rosetta thought, is that why he is being so nice? Prince asked if there is anything she wants. He will use everything in his power to fulfill her wish, since she might as well have died in his stead. Rosetta thought that no ordinary maid would have been killed by that much poison, but she is an awakened swordmaster, so she will be fine, but she can't exactly say that. Should she tell them she has a robust constitution? No, wait a minute, is this a significant opportunity? Rosetta said it's all right, there is no need for that, there could be a chance that she might survive. Prince thought he knew she was an idiot, but it seems like the poison has made her insane. Then he told her no, and fortunately, it's highly unlikely. Rosetta said then he only has one wish, please allow her to stay by his side. She wishes to serve His Majesty until the very end. Prince replied if she grasped the gravity of the situation, she would not pose that request to him. Rosetta speak if she is going to die anyway. There is no point in passing on gold and silver to a family she does not get along with. She would rather serve the prince until the end and have some honor left. She thought, for the prince it was a more difficult request than asking for money or power, but the prince could understand the struggle to find, even a small sense of purpose in life. Prince stated all right, he will fulfill her last wish. Then Prince spoke that he appointed Rosetta as his sole and exclusive maid, duration until her death. The next scene, the maid asked if she was okay. They said she is going to die. How could this be? Rosetta replied, no, she is not going to die. The priest healed her. Rumors usually spread like that. Her body is perfectly fine without any injuries. The maid spoke. She is so happy to hear that. She got permission. Does she want to sleep here together? Then at night, the maid told her dosing. This feels like going back to when she was a kid. Rosetta replied, yes, she is right. Then she thought about it. She was so busy training to be a knight. Even having time to meet friends was a luxury. No wonder this feels exciting. Rosetta asked if she wants to be close to this person. What should she do? Melanie Boyce shocked and asked closer to a person. Rosetta spoke, well, he is a man for one. Then she thought he is a weak but good-looking guy. Melanie asked if it is Lord Richard. Forget it. Of all the things she is also oblivious. Anyway, if he wants to get close to the two of them, the best way is skinship. The next day, a prince stated he doesn't need a bath attendant. Such a shameless hobby, Rosetta replied. Still, this should be more comfortable. Prince asked if he already declined, and since he is being stubborn, should he take this as her having other intentions? Rosetta thought if someone said this much, a woman of virtue would already have run away from embarrassment. Then she asked if she did. The Duke thought was his body her real motive. Rosetta thought he finally noticed that she wants to get closer to him. After some time, Rosetta spoke. His Majesty, she will help him change his clothes. Prince told her he already said he didn't need help. Rosetta thought why be so rude? Richard asked if this regarding. Rosetta asked if he could keep what he heard just now a secret. Richard replied, yes, he will. Is her body okay? Rosetta replied, yes, it's fine. If he heard anything, it's just a rumor. Then she said she thinks this situation should have been better handled. His Majesty's safety is much important than anything else, Richard replied. Her heart is very kind, thinking about someone else's well-being before her own. Rosetta thought what is this? She was just giving advice as a senior knight. His response is too slow. Richard asked if she has time this weekend. Prince stated there won't be time. This girl will be too busy looking after her. Then he thought this girl wasn't after just his body. He has to protect Lord Richard. Rosetta asked if he is going to the main palace. She will escort him there. Prince replied there is no need. Rosetta spoke. While he is going, she will hold his parasol, and she will tell him interesting stories. Prince thought she is so annoying, then replied, all right, he will listen while she holds his parasol. The next scene, Prince stated if she can. That is, Richard thought that heavy thing, holding it with those small arms of hers. Then she told him the story. Rosetta thought, looking at his expression, he is really into the story. She had worked for him for 10 years, so she would know just by looking at his profile. Prince thought the story is a bit interesting. Then he asked where did she get the information from. Rosetta replied, good question. It's been a while since she heard of this, so she doesn't remember it well. Then she thought, in fact, killing the king and getting the earrings was all done by her, but she could never reveal this. Richard asked embarrassingly. He was too busy listening, so he could not ask. But how in the world did she hold the parasol with her frail body? Rosetta replied, she thinks he is looking down on the work of a maid too much. Holding this much isn't even worth breaking a sweat. She is considered strong even among the maids. Then she thought, come to think of it, even back then, she was strangely strong. Then she saw it Prince holding onto him as he was struggling and the lips. Prince spoke, what is she doing? Go back inside. After some time, Rosetta thought the parasol was nothing compared to a sword, but still, as expected, the body of a 20-year-old is weaker than that of a 30-year-old. To become a swordmaster, she wonders if it will take 5 years like lost time. This is frustrating. She happened to be a maid this time, so she doesn't have a lot of time to train. She will have to talk to Valyrian to see if there is a better way. Valyrian was the youngest person to become the Archmage of the Empire. He gave up the honor of becoming the next master of the tower, and dedicated himself to the Imperial family, and to her. He is more like a family than her blood relatives. Suddenly, Valyrian came, and the next moment Rosetta asked, "What is he doing in the middle of the palace garden?" He didn't avoid it even though he could have, like a pervert, it's annoying. Valyrian replied, "A pervert, he did this on purpose to make her feel better." To Rosetta, Valyrian was like a brother to her, and being with him made her feel better. Even as Rosetta got older and became an adult, the only downside to Valyrian was his overly affectionate nature. Rosetta thought in front of other people, he is very serious. Why does he act like a dog in front of her? But looking at his face, she has to forgive him for everything. Rosetta stated she will visit his search lab soon, once she takes care of her work. Don't worry, this time she has a lot of friends, and it's more fun. Valyrian spoke, "Wow, Rose finally has friends, he is proud of her, so can he give her a hug?" "It's been a while," Rosetta replied. "No, someone is coming. Is he trying to ruin her chances of getting married?" Valyrian replied, "It's still a long way off, so one time is fine." Then both of them hugged each other. Rosetta spoke, "There is no next time, she has self-respect, something that he doesn't have." After that, the prince came and asked just now who was that next to her. Rosetta thought, could it be that he saw her meeting Valyrian? Well, it seems she had forgotten since she saw him as someone to protect. As Prince also received training as a prince, he should have better eyesight than most knights. "Let's be shameless for now." Rosetta replied, "He is a friend who works at the main palace. He is a very fit fellow. Prince highly likely that she is in touch with someone." Rosetta thought, what is he thinking? His paranoia has brought her to this point. Rosetta was coughing blood. Then she spoke, "Don't worry, she is fine." Prince thought, blood. Then he held her while she was getting down. Rosetta thought, he caught her. She didn't see that coming. He is suspicious of her, yet still feels sorry. She can't miss this opportunity. Rosetta stated thanks for catching her. He saved her life. Prince thought, saved her life. Then he thought he is the reason she is like this. Didn't he kill her instead? Rosetta spoke, she is perfectly fine. If he stays in the sun longer, he will ruin his skin. Let's go inside. Prince replied, she is right. He feels a tingling sensation. Let's go back. Then after some time, Prince spoke. He only let her in to clean his bedroom, so finish it and get out. Rosetta replied, yes, His Majesty. Then she thought, come to think of it, these withered flowers have been here for a while. There is no way Prince has a hobby like this. Did another maid put them here? Prince stated, just leave them be. Rosetta asked, are these flowers from someone special? Prince replied, yes. Rosetta thought, by any chance, did Lady Lunella give them to him? House Lunella is the only ducal friendly in the empire. They consolidated their power through their close ties to the Imperial family. Rosetta still remembered her because she would marry the prince a few years later. Their marriage was just a formality because of Prince's sordid nature. She remembered their relationship being frosty. Prince spoke. He feels like she has been coming here to clean a lot more often these days. Rosetta replied, changing bed sheets regularly is good for his skin. Prince told her she is making such a fuss. Why does it matter? Rosetta shouted. He is saying that even after looking like that, look how fine and beautiful his skin is. Directly, it makes sense to ask that. Just looking at him makes her feel good. His looks are the best thing about him. If it wasn't for His Highness' face, she would not be here. Prince stated, has she gone insane? It seems she has lost her fear since she was about to die anyway. Rosetta thought she crossed the line because she was too excited, then she apologized. Prince thought, is she crying? The same person who was completely unfazed by her life limit. Why isn't she saying anything? Rosetta thought, let's just kneel. Prince stated, whatever, her body isn't even in good condition. Rosetta cut his sentence and spoke, it's all her fault, His Majesty. Prince shouted, what is she doing right now? Then he thought, why is her body so thin? Then he said, don't do anything stupid. Rosetta thought, kneeling must have done the trick. Prince told her that tomorrow at 11 a.m., she would be ready. They were going to make some memories together before she died. After some time, Rosetta thought, Prince suggested to meet first, but what if he doesn't actually meet her? The next day, Rosetta was ready. Prince came, Rosetta thought, so he actually showed up. Judging by his personality, it's real. Then, in the carriage, Prince asked, did she really have to wear that? Rosetta replied, she didn't have any other suitable clothes. Richard asked, haven't her clothes been sent from the Baron yet? Rosetta replied, no, but this is still suitable for boating. Then Prince thought, to think that an aristocrat doesn't have a single decent set of clothes, from an aristocrat to a maid. It looks like she has been abused by the Baron. Being abused her whole life and becoming a maid, and in the end, she is going to end up dying instead of him. While Rosetta thought, dresses are uncomfortable to train in, that's why she only owns pants. It's not having clothes, something that is concerning. Prince asked if she wants clothes. He shall buy them for her. Rosetta replied, thanks, but she is fine, there is nothing she needs. Then she thought, she already has everything she wants. If he really wishes to do something for her, please don't die. Then after some time, Rosetta stated, it's a pretty lake, His Majesty. Let's get on the boat. Prince replied, okay, she can go. Rosetta asked, she is asking just in case, but Prince stated, what did she think he meant? He meant for her to go alone. She should already have everything she needs, the boat is for her to go on her own. Rosetta thought no one enjoys boating alone. First off, she doesn't even like boating. The boats just bob and drift on the surface of the water. She might as well use that time to swing her sword and train. Nevertheless, the reason she was so excited about this proposal is that she is looking forward to spending time alone with Prince. Then she said, is she really riding alone? Prince replied, okay, let's ride together. Then he thought, what has he gotten himself into? Rosetta spoke, really? He is really coming along for the ride. Thanks, Prince stated, as long as she keeps her mouth shut. Richard thought it's been a year since he served His Majesty. He can't believe his luck. What a great opportunity, he will have to thank him later. Prince told him he stays here. At least one person should stay out of the water to be safe. Richard replied, yes, he understands. The next scene, Rosetta thought thanks to magic, the boat moves automatically. It's not as bad as she thought. The scenery and his beauty, it looks like a painting. Rosetta asked, do he enjoy boating? Prince replied, no. She asked, why not? Prince thought back to when he was little. He was asking for help, but first Prince was laughing at him. He thought there is no one to protect him, not even himself. Prince replied, he has some bad memories of it. It's nothing to worry about. Since she has been assigned to his palace, she has been facing hardships. Rosetta replied, she is not assigned. She volunteered, Prince stated. What? He knows the maids don't like his palace, so why did she volunteer? Rosetta replied, because she wants to protect His Highness. Prince asked, with what power? Rosetta replied, he saw her with the parasol, and she has already saved His Highness once. Prince spoke, and because of that, her life. Then suddenly the boat got a little turbulence. Rosetta was on the prince. Then he said he can't even find a way to save her. This is all it took for her to fall. How is she going to protect him? Rosetta thought. Why is her heart like this? Why is it beating so fast? For Rosetta, skinship was nothing embarrassing, just doing as she did with Valyrian. But in this case, why is this so embarrassing? She can't show that she is embarrassed. He is Valyrian. She can do this. Then she said, His Majesty. Thanks. She lived thanks to him. Prince stated, moving on. How long is she planning to sit on him? Rosetta replied, she was planning to sit here before she fell again. Prince was shocked. Then, after some time, Rosetta said, this wouldn't be okay. It's the thigh of His Majesty. Prince said he didn't get it. How could she spend time with the person who is responsible for her mortality? She seemed completely unfazed. How could she risk her life for him? Rosetta thought the reason she started regressing was that Prince was her first failure. A knight could not protect her, because she was so resentful of herself. However, with every regression, All emotions were stripped away. The only thought left in her mind is just if he were alive, she would be happy, even if he didn't recognize her at all, even if he became a normal person, just keep surviving. Then she replied. The reason why she kept trying to save him is a secret. Even a normal maid could have a secret. Anyway, her desire to protect him is sincere. Prince said there have been plenty of people who have said the same thing as she, however, everyone who said that. Rosetta thought, is the mana device broken? It's too weird to be a coincidence. Then she said, His Majesty, be careful. This is the deepest part of the water. The next moment she was shocked. Prince thought, sincerity. Seriously, there is nothing else like it. Everyone who said that to him always ended up betraying him. Then he saw Rosetta was coming. The next scene, Rosetta asked, Is he all right? Prince replied, He is fine. After some time, Richard was shocked. Rosetta was holding up Prince. Rosetta told him to get His Highness into the carriage now. After some time, Prince opened his eyes. Richard said he used his magic to change the clothes and dry them off, so they don't have to worry about any rumors. Prince asked how much time had passed, and if anyone had seen. Richard replied it's been less than an hour, and no one saw. He moved as stealthily as possible. Prince asked why he didn't call for the priest. Richard replied that a junior priest handles emergency measures, but the first prince was wounded while sparring, so the high priest was delayed. Prince thought Dalien, that's not even funny anymore. Rosetta thought she was aware that the current empress, the mother of the first prince, was involved with the temple. She never thought that the relationship would be so openly revealed. Suddenly, the boat malfunctioned. The high priest was not come. This is not just a coincidence. Prince stated that he wants to be alone, and Rosetta should remain here. Rosetta thought, is it because she was being cheeky earlier, or because she carried in like a princess? Prince spoke, saving him twice. He owed her his life thanks. Then he asked if she was crying now. Did he do something wrong? Rosetta replied, No, it's not that. It's just what His Majesty said earlier she liked so much. Prince spoke that he will take care of everything she wants. He is going to pay close attention to everything she wants. Rosetta replied, Oh no, she is really fine. She just wants His Highness to be safe. Prince stated it's the price of his life, so he will pay it. Rosetta replied, Then please hug her, His Majesty. Prince asked if that's really all she wants. Rosetta replied, Yes, it is. Prince spoke, If that's all, he will do it for her. Rosetta asked His Majesty why he was hugging her on the bed. Prince replied he only came here because it was more comfortable. Now get off. Rosetta spoke, She thinks His Highness is right. Since it's the price of his life, it deserves to be expensive. Prince asked if there is something else she wants. Rosetta replied, To be precise, she wants more. Rosetta continued that holding hands is fine. Hugs are okay too. And since tea time is also good, please do one thing every day that she wants, no matter what it is. Prince asked why she has that contract with her. Rosetta replied she just carried it around because she didn't want anyone to see it. Prince stated he doesn't like this, but this is the price for his life, so he has no choice. Then Prince thought she is going to die anyway. After that, they heard the maid's voice that the priest has arrived, and the archmage is here too. Rosetta thought Valyrian is here. If he sees them like this, there will be an uproar, a disheveled bed, wet clothes, and messy hair. In the next scene, Prince said come in. Rosetta thought why is he playing with her hair? Prince whispered if a hair is messy, does she think she won't get caught? He had never done a maid's hair before, so hold still. Valyrian spoke. He heard that His Majesty was in an accident, so he came to meet His Majesty despite it being rude. Prince asked if word had already spread to the main palace. Valyrian replied there is no place within the Imperial palace that his eyes cannot reach. The priest has also arrived, and the prince looks a lot better than he had thought. He will be outside with the maid. Prince stated wait, she stays here. Valyrian whispered if he bothers her, even if he is the crown prince. Prince spoke. Is she that desperate to leave? Don't talk. Just stay and watch him get treated. Rosetta replied, yes, Then the treatment started. Rosetta thought he is like a cat, asking for her attention. The last time he took a bath, he fussed about his skincare. She supposed it doesn't matter this time. Prince stated when the treatment is over, treat that maid too. A few days ago, she ingested some poisonous sitar. She is going to die soon. Can he make it a little less painful? The priest replied he cares so much about his maid, he will do his best. Rosetta thought no. If he does his best, they will realize she is not actually dying. It seems she has no other choice but to do this. Rosetta stated, His Majesty, the truth is, he can't afford to get treated right now, to be honest. Prince asked why. Rosetta replied because she is very shy, so she would prefer to be treated by a priestess instead. Prince asked if she just said she is very shy. What is she talking about? Valyrian spoke. Well, in order to receive treatment, the person has to show their bare skin. It could be embarrassing to show it to the opposite sex. He will take care of the maid. He hopes Prince received good treatment. Then out of the room, both of them were laughing. After some time, Valyrian asked what kind of tea she would like to have. Rosetta replied she doesn't like wasting magic on useless things. Valyrian replied he is having tea with his rose, so why not use it? Rosetta asked why he came all the way to the Crown Prince's palace. Valyrian asked, wait, didn't she tell him? Who was it, the one who poisoned her? Rosetta replied he is already dead, either by suicide or he was silenced. She is immune to poison anyway. Valyrian stated he will never forgive them. And why did she fall into the lake? Rosetta replied something went wrong with the boat, and then His Majesty lost his consciousness and fell into the lake. Why did he black out all of a sudden? Valyrian spoke. Was it due to an unnatural abnormality in his stomach? The most likely cause would be because of a reaction caused by the gradual buildup of a small amount of poison in his system. Rosetta replied if that's the case, it must have been an assassination attempt. Valyrian asked if there was anything suspicious in the room. Rosetta replied well, His Majesty's room is so tidy he would wonder if it was really inhabited. Although there is one thing that bothered her, there are some flowers. She remembered it because he insisted on keeping them, even though they had withered. Valyrian spoke then he will look into it. He will help her, but he is worried about her. She may be a knight, but she doesn't even have a soul. Rosetta replied not to worry. She always carries a sword that he hides using her mana. Then she thought and an agent of time magic, the sword that His Highness bestowed on her in her first life. Valyrian asked if the prince is that important. No matter how many times she tries, Rosetta replied yes because he is the lead she has chosen to serve. Valyrian spoke, fine, it's her choice, so he will respect it, but he won't stand for her being in danger either. From now on, he is going to actively intervene. Rosetta hugged him while saying thanks. Then she thought in every regression, for helping her, this time for sure, she will make this life her last. The next scene, Rosetta thought she will have to lie about having seen a priestess, about the flower. Valyrian said he will let her know the result by tomorrow. The flowers were not the cause because those flowers were from Lady Lunella. Then, after some time, Rosetta read the letter from Valyrian in which he said the flowers in that vase are the culprit, and the ship's circuitry unit also showed signs that it had been tampered with. Rosetta thought it's just as she thought. Is it because she became a maid this time? There are many surprises. There are many changes. She cannot relax and let her guard down. Then, in the prince's room, Rosetta asked if his room is a little cluttered for some reason. Prince also asked if she met the priestess. What did they say? Rosetta replied, yes, she can live longer than she thought because she is healthier than expected. Prince spoke, only a few days longer at most. Rosetta thought, no, it's much, much longer than he thinks. Then she said she will get to cleaning. Prince stated don't touch it. He doesn't want to make her do any chores. Rosetta replied, but that's her job as a maid, Prince stated. Just don't overdo it and faint. She is glad she drank the poison. Then she said she is His Highness's exclusive maid. It is her pleasure to serve him wholeheartedly. Please don't take that joy away from her. Then she thought if she doesn't come here to clean, how will she run into him? The next moment, Madame LeBlanc came. and said what happened yesterday. How could something like that happen to him? Prince replied she must have heard the rumors. He is fine, so don't cry. After that, she spoke he has kept and arranged the flowers she gave him. She told him they were wilted, and she would give him new ones, but he kept them. Prince replied he kept it because Madame gave it to him. Rosetta thought the precious person was Madame, not Lady Lunella. Madame is this special person Prince mentioned. Madame LeBlanc is the nanny who raised Prince. It is only natural that Madame cares for him. Prince asked if she remembers who she entrusted the flowers to. Madame replied she left it to the head maid. She insisted that she would give it to him. Rosetta thought then Madame is not the culprit. She has no motive to kill someone who is like her own son. But Countess Milliam, the head maid, on the other hand, is the confidant of the Empress. Then is this the work of the Empress? It would make sense as to why there is so little evidence left. Then after some time, Madame spoke. Is the lady the prince's new maid? She wonders how long she will last. Rosetta replied she doesn't need to worry. It is her pleasure to look after the prince. Madame asked if she doesn't mind. Can she ask her a favor? Rosetta replied for His Majesty's sake. Of course, Madame stated then she would like her to watch over His Majesty at night. Rosetta replied since it was night time, she could not grant such a request. Madame stated she apologized. She didn't mean it like that. She means she wanted her to go to his room after dinner and keep an eye on things. Rosetta replied she gets it. Madame shouldn't worry. But what if His Highness doesn't like it? Madame spoke. If he says anything, tell him she requested it, then he won't be able to say anything. She is glad he has a good person like her by his side. The next scene, the head maid stated a grown woman visited so often, it will cause more unnecessary rumors. She has a warning for her. If she values her life, do not try to get close to His Highness. Don't be foolish enough to enter the prince's chamber late at night. Then at night, Rosetta thought she has already regressed 4 times, but it's the first time she noticed that the head maid doesn't like Madame LeBlanc. Oh no, has she been failing because she missed such relationships? Then at the prince's room, Rosetta thought if this is how he normally is, it's fine. Suddenly, Prince opened his eyes. Prince then grabbed her hand and threw her onto the bed. Rosetta stated she apologizes. It's a misunderstanding. Madame asked her to do this. Then she thought, is he sleepwalking? First, she should get out carefully. What is this man doing? Please come to his senses. Then she hit him and threw him onto the bed. She thought this is not like him. He feels like a beast, not a human being. Rumors of His Majesty's insanity were not due to his eccentric personality, but because of this illness. She wondered if he did this to the other maids. No, for now, she needed to do something about this first. Rosetta stated, Your Highness, excuse me for a moment. Then after some time Prince asked, what is she doing here? Rosetta replied she didn't come here for no reason. Prince asked her to tell him what she saw. Rosetta replied he didn't talk, and he is very strong. As soon as he saw her, he jumped on her. Prince spoke he must have looked like an animal, following his instincts without inhibition. Then he thought when he was sleeping, he committed another act of violence. Rosetta thought just as she thought, the other maids were also attacked. Prince apologized for what just happened. It must have been tough, but how did she do it? Rosetta replied she has said it before. She is secretly very strong. If he doesn't believe her, would he like to try arm wrestling? Prince stated she suggested it, so don't whine if she loses. Then he thought no matter how arrogant she acts, once she sees the result, she won't be able to act that way again. Suddenly, Prince thought, but what kind of woman is this strong? Rosetta stated, well, she is naturally good at it thanks to her strong grip. Is he done? Then she won the fight. Prince was shocked. Rosetta spoke, Your Highness, since she have won, she will ask him one question. Is he going to kick her out too? Come to think of it, she didn't tell him her wish for the day. He said he would grant her 1 wish per day. Please don't fire her. That is her wish. Prince asked why she's not afraid of him. Rosetta replied because he didn't do it on purpose, and because he is a good person, and she still wants to stay by His Highness' side. Prince thought somniamia. It is a mental illness that is said to be incurable. For 3 years, he did not know the cause or the name of the disease. After finding out about his disease, the first prince used it as an excuse to attack him. After seeing him in this state, there were no surviving servants. However, Rosetta saved his life twice because she is a special maid. Then Prince said he thinks she should move into the room next to his. He is talking about her waiting on him at night. Rosetta replied, "Yes, Your Highness." Prince thought rather than calling her special, she is rather strange, he would say she is a unique maid. The next morning, Valyrian spoke. She made it to the right place, so what was she doing in his room at dawn? Please tell him it's just a rumor. Did she really go there? Rosetta asked. Why is he so angry? Valyrian replied, there is a rumor that she slept with the crown prince last night. Rosetta shouted, but who on earth spread such rumors? Valyrian stated, so that was a rumor too. He knew it, he thought he was overreacting. After that, Rosetta stated she would tell him about what has happened so far. Then she told him the whole story. Valyrian spoke. He doesn't like the fact that she is regressing because of that guy. Rosetta thought for some reason, the Valyrian in this life seems to really hate the prince. Valyrian cleaned her face, then said, what is he going to do about her exclusive maid position? If she is not suitable for it, how about just working in his lab in this life? Rosetta grabbed his hand, then said if he is going to eat, he should eat properly. There is a little bit left here. Valyrian thought, when did his cute little sister become such a sophisticated woman? Then he asked, is she really not going to think about it? Rosetta replied, if he wants to look good for her, there is something she really wants to ask for, a list of all existing poisons. Can he make something that detects poison? They already have something like that, but the range is narrow, and the types of poison it can detect are limited. Valyrian asked if it's because of the crown prince. He doesn't like that guy, but of course, he will help because he hates to see her in danger. The next scene, Rosetta thought she didn't have much to move, so she finished quickly. Melanie came and asked if she slept with the crown prince last night. Rosetta replied absolutely not. She just fell asleep on the sofa while cleaning. Melanie asked then why is she moving rooms? Rosetta replied because she is the prince's exclusive maid, and she has to be close. Then Melanie asked if the person she said she wanted to get close to is the prince. Rosetta replied yes, that's right. Prince thought, does Rosetta like him? Has she liked him all this time? Richard said, bow lower. The knight spoke. He is sorry, Rosetta. Then Rosetta said, Sir Richard, don't be so hard on him. Richard replied, no, he's not. He doesn't like that guy. He spread the rumors, so he has to correct his behavior now. The next scene, Prince is staring at her. Rosetta thought, what's going on with him today? Then she asked His Highness, did she do something wrong? Prince replied, it's nothing, don't mind him. Rosetta spoke, is he feeling unwell? His face looks red. Look at him. Prince thought she doesn't know that he overheard her conversation, so that's why she has been acting like that until now. That woman is just following him because she likes him, not because she wants something from him. Why is his heart so confused? And why does he feel so conscious of that woman? Rosetta stated she is done cleaning, then asked if she could make a wish today. Prince asked what it is. Rosetta told him, please call her by her name. He have never called her by her name before. Prince asked why he should use her name. Rosetta replied, it's a different feeling when someone special calls her by name. Prince thought, someone special, she is being a little too obvious. Then he said, fine. He will call her when he needs her. Then asked what the priest said today. Rosetta replied, they said she is very healthy, and she will live a long life. Prince stated, okay, she can leave when she is done with her work. After some time, Rosetta thought she is worried because His Highness is behaving differently. What if something went wrong? Mistress came and told her Countess Milliam is looking for her. Rosetta thought if it is Countess, she would be the current Empress's confidant. Why would such a person want to meet her? The next scene, the Countess asked if she is the exclusive maid of His Highness, the Crown Prince, whom she has heard so much about. It's uncommon for His Highness to keep an exclusive maid. She has a pretty face, Rosetta thought. During times like these, She has to pretend not to understand, then replied, "Thanks." The Countess asked, "That's right. Did she enter His Majesty's chamber last night with her vulgar body?" Rosetta replied, "Madame LeBlanc instructed me to replace the firewood in His Highness's room." The Countess said she is just curious. Did she see anything strange in His Highness's room last night? Rosetta thought. Does she know something? No, the Countess only knows what her maid knows. They only know that the servants who sneaked into His Highness's room died, because of his personality becoming savage at night. Then she spoke something strange. He slept without making a single sound. She was worried that something was wrong with him. The Countess said, just as she thought, how dare she lie to her, but do she know? She really disliked people who are not honest. Cut off her tongue. Suddenly, nights came. Rosetta thought she can easily take these guys down with a single blow, but if she shows off her skills here, it will raise suspicion. Then she spoke. She not lying. The knight stated, "Hold stills. Is that the last thing she wished to say with her your tongue intact?" Rosetta thought, let's stay calm. Would it be better to use force and escape, or would it be better to give up my tongue and protect His Majesty's secret? Yes, it hurts, but Valerie will help her recover. Then Rosetta stated, she can't help it if the Countess wishes to punish her, but she really doesn't know anything. Then she thought, for the sake of His Majesty, the pain is only temporary. The next moment, the first prince came and asked, "What is this? Are they having fun?" The Countess asked, "What brings His Majesty all the way here?" Prince replied, "He came to visit her mother, but he is also interested in this poor maid, and since the pretty young lady is in trouble, he can't just leave." The Countess told him that child is not worthy of his interest. She is the personal maid of His Highness the Crown Prince, Prince stated. And that's even better, follow him. Rosetta thought he is the most annoying person she has ever met. In her previous life, he taunted her and laughed at her for being a knight as a woman. She is glad it stopped before she got hurt. She hates getting involved with this guy. Prince stated, so, Rosetta, as she know, he saved her from a dangerous situation. He wonders if she will repay him for this. Rosetta asked, what repayment? Prince spoke, is she pretending not to know? Of course, he means she have to repay him with her body. He is the first prince of the empire and Armand's competition for the throne. Even though he was born as a prince, unlike the second Prince Armand, he was not paid much attention. He was raised by the Countess, as he was a child of inherited imperial blood. He is notorious for his bad habits. One beating, this piece of trash needs to be beaten. First, the foot. Suddenly, the second prince came and said he wondered where she went. What is she doing here? Come here, Rosetta. Then Rosetta thought, did he just call her by name? He is unexpectedly delicate sometimes. Then she said, yes, His Majesty. The first prince thought, what was that strength just now? Armand asked, but what were he doing to his maid? Prince replied, he came all this way looking for a mere maid, instead of paying attention to such a lowly thing. Why doesn't he focus on getting engaged? If he looks good in front of his mother now, who knows, maybe she will pick a good fiancé for him. Rosetta thought, since the emperor's health is not good, the right to choose the fiancé would belong to the empress. That's why the second prince kept putting off his engagement. Armand asked, why doesn't he worry about himself? He has to keep an eye on him since it seems like he is trying to harass the young ladies, or is it because he is unhappy about having to marry a fiancé of such a lowly status? The first prince thought he doesn't think he can become the emperor as long as Armand exists. Then he tried to attack him. The second prince thought he can dodge a punch like that if he really wanted to, but he can also use it politically if he gets hit hard enough. Then suddenly, both of them were shocked. Rosetta was on the ground. First, the prince started, she isn't dead, right? If she gets out, his reputation will be ruined as the prince who beat up a maid in broad daylight. Then he started running away. The second prince shouted, don't think he can get away with this. Then he thought, no, he has to calm down and focus on Rosetta rather than that guy. Why is she always trying to protect him like this? Rosetta opened her eyes and said, did he leave? Prince was shocked. Rosetta asked, how was her acting? Was it convincing enough? Then she thought, there is no way she would get hurt by a guy like that. Prince asked, why did she do such a dangerous thing? Rosetta replied, of course, it's because she want to protect him. Rosetta thought he must be angry. Maybe it was shocking to see a woman get hit right in front of him. He wouldn't even dream of her being a swordmaster. Prince picked her up and said, stay still. He will take her to a priest. Rosetta thought, does this man have no sense of shame? She said, it's too embarrassing to be taken to the temple like this. Wouldn't it be better to call a priest to His Majesty's chambers? Prince replied, okay, fine. She is sick, but she is still talking a lot. In the next scene, Richard asked why he's out here and not in the room. Prince replied, because of Rosetta. She said she didn't want to be seen being treated. Then he thought he felt like he would become strange if he stayed beside her for too long. Whenever he saw that maid, his heart fluttered, and his face grew hotter. At the same time in the room, Rosetta thought, it's true that Theodore is a talented priest. It seems like he won't be recognized for his abilities this time around either, as he has fallen out of favor with the Archbishop. That's a good thing for His Highness. Rosetta stated what she is about to tell him is confidential. His Highness is considering hiring him as his exclusive priest. Then the priest was shocked and asked, what, seriously? Rosetta thought, he is not on the Archbishop's side. That means he is not with the Empress either. They can bring him over to their side. After some time, Prince asked him a question. Apparently, Rosetta ingested sitar before. Rosetta cut his sentence and asked if she has something urgent to tell him. Then she whispered something. Prince stated, thanks for his hard work, he can go now. Prince asked, is she coming to his room tonight? What on earth is she talking about? Rosetta replied, he said that last time. He often experiences symptoms on days when he is under a lot of stress. Prince stated, but he is not even the one who is stressed. Then at night, Rosetta said, His Majesty, wait, Rosetta thought, this is a problem, this sunfish crown prince. He is more elegant aristocrat than she has ever seen in her life. Now he looks more like an animal than a human, revealing such embarrassing desires. Somniamia. It's an illness that supposedly has no cure, but since the Archbishop is on the side of the first prince, he must have lied. The cause is most likely a powerful curse, which happens to be the only type of magic Valyrian can't handle. Did he run away because she held on too tight? Perhaps he really turned into the beast. His Highness, what is this? It's gonna be fun. Don't he want to play? Doesn't it look like fun? If it seems to be more enjoyable than she thought, wait, His Highness, wait. She said no, climb onto the bed, she is in charge tonight, and she will teach him what the word no means. There is something she noticed when teaching her cat, that they have to be patient when teaching a beast, and after several regressions, this is what she is most confident about. The next day, Richard asked His Highness if he's still sleeping. Can he come in? Prince thought his head. Did he have an episode last night? Then he replied, yes, come in. Prince thought, why is his quilt so puffy? Then he was shocked. Why is she here? Richard asked His Majesty if he's feeling okay. Prince replied that he doesn't feel well. Rosetta opened her eyes. Shocked, Prince stated, never mind that. Just go ahead with his report. Rosetta thought, how could she dare to fall asleep in her lord's bed? Prince thought he is afraid she will hear his heartbeat. The rational part of him wants to distance himself. But at the same time, he also has the desire to get closer. Up until now, he thought all of this was due to a sense of guilt. However, there's this inexplicable desire boiling inside him. The stifling of his body against his will couldn't be explained by such emotions alone. He finally has to admit it. He is attracted to this strange servant. After some time, when Richard is gone, Prince asked, what on earth is she doing here? Rosetta replied, it's a misunderstanding. She stayed up all night dealing with His Highness' illness and ended up falling asleep. Prince asked, she controlled it? Rosetta replied, yes, as she kept talking to him. His Highness gradually became more calm. Then she thought it was more like training than control. Prince thought no matter how many priests came, it was useless. Couldn't be that his feelings for Rosetta influenced it. And he said it's all thanks to her. He is grateful. Is she not going to be asking for a favor today? He is talking about that wish of hers. Rosetta replied. Of course, she wants to go to the library with him, Prince replied. He can lend her his access card, Rosetta asked. Now it's only meaningful if they go there together. Prince thought. Does she want to go on a date? Rosetta thought that way. It's easier to protect him. Then at the library, Prince thought, how can he make a good impression on a date? Funny, he never thought he would regret rejecting every woman who approached him. Then he said, let him help her, he pretty much knows where each book is placed. Rosetta thought, why is he so close? The maids are talking about them. Rosetta replied she was looking for a book on pet training, she recently adopted one. Then she will borrow it because she wants to take her time reading it. After some time, she asked Valyrian what he was doing here. Valyrian replied that he came to see her. Prince was coming their way, so Rosetta said quickly hide her. Valyrian replied, sure, since it's her request. Prince thought there was no one, so she's not here. Valyrian thought they weren't even close before. Why do they feel so strange? She seemed like a different person to him, someone he didn't know well. She's now in her 20s. For most young ladies, this is the age to start dating. Rosetta asked what kind of magic item this is. Valyrian replied it's a magic robe. It also has a noise cancellation effect. Then he said, take this. Rosetta thought it carries a faint aura of magic. It's evident a high-level magic spell has been cast upon it. Valyrian stated to give it to the prince, in case of a dangerous situation. It's enchanted to allow her to teleport instantly. Rosetta asked how he knew. Valyrian replied because he thought she wouldn't have time to come and meet him due to her duties as a bodyguard, and this is a necklace connected to cuff links. If a maid wears something that seems conspicuously expensive, it would attract attention, so he made it look like a fake. Of course, it still suits her. Rosetta thought it looks like a couple accessory. Rosetta replied, thanks, now she will go see His Highness. Valyrian said, wait a minute, he wants to put on the necklace for her. She hasn't done this kind of thing much. Then he asked if she told the prince that she's not dying. Rosetta replied, not that she will tell him someday. After some time, Prince asked where she went without saying anything. Rosetta replied she apologizes. Time flew by while talking with a friend, Prince stated. Do she know how much? Then he stopped. Rosetta asked, were he worried about her? Prince replied yes, he was worried. Don't disappear like that without his permission in the future. Rosetta thought he seemed to be paying extra attention to her today. It must be because he feels sorry. Then she said, His Highness, she has something to give him. Prince thought these are cufflinks. How did she manage to buy such an expensive item with her salary? Did she want to wear matching couple items, so she bought something that's difficult to afford just by using a maid's salary? But there is no need to push herself that much for him. Then he said thanks. He will wear it every day. He couldn't prepare a gift, though. Rosetta said it's okay. She doesn't expect anything in return. Prince said he can't let that happen. He has a nature that insists on repaying what he has received. He doesn't think she has many clothes, so he will call a designer. Rosetta replied, no, it's okay. Her friend will buy her clothes on her day off. Prince said, okay, shopping must be enjoyable for girls. Rosetta said, no, that friend is a guy. Prince asked, going to buy clothes with a male friend, that's unusual. Rosetta told him that her friend has a better eye for fashion than most girls. Her friend would be carefully selecting each item. Prince stated to cancel her plans for the day off. He will take her shopping. Nothing comes to mind that's better than clothes. Rosetta asked, why is he suddenly? Prince spoke. Could it be that his taste seems lacking compared to his friend? Then let's go out tomorrow afternoon. Rosetta thought, why is he doing this? Then, in the carriage, Rosetta thought, why do these things keep happening in this life? No, since she is going out, she should enjoy herself. She will have fun on her day off with Valyrian. Prince thought, was not the dressing room space only for engaged couples or longtime lovers to go to? He can't believe he is feeling jealous. In the next scene, Melanie asked, is she seriously going out like that? She said she has a date with His Highness today. Rosetta replied. No, it's not that. It's just a reward for helping His Highness before, and he won't pay much attention to her appearance. Melanie said, No, at least for the sake of the royal image, she should dress up. Come on, hurry up and follow her. After some time, Rosetta was ready for the outing. She said, Greetings, His Highness. Prince was shocked. Like this video. Hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.